welcome back to another of the greatest shows on earth. Wow, that's really, where did that come from? That came from a movie recently. Welcome back to the Dunwoody Dialogues. I'm Mark Galvin, your host. We are coming to you from Discover Dunwoody. We're the destination marketing organization for Dunwoody. We want to bring everybody to Dunwoody. Come shop at our shops, eat at our restaurants, and stay in our hotels. But we do a lot of other things here at Discover Dunwoody, and one of them is our social media is a key part of the things that we love to promote. So go check us out. Discover Dunwoody is our handle everywhere. You can learn about all the great things that we do, really learn about all the great things happening here in Dunwoody. And I'm going to tell you guys, my brain is like kicking on all cylinders because our guests and I are just sitting here rattling away talking about the movie industry. And so I'd much rather talk about that than all the great things we do in Discover Dunwoody. But we do a lot of great things in Discover Dunwoody. Let me bring in and tell you about our guest today. She is a Dunwoody original. Grew up right here in the Branches neighborhood. She went to Westminster School, earned her degree in theater and film at the University of Mississippi, which is also known as Ole Miss, if I remember right. Yep. And she went from Ole Miss up to New York City chasing her acting career. She's appeared in TV shows, films, commercials before we called her back and brought her back to Atlanta and Dunwoody. Now she's one of Atlanta's most interesting and creative entrepreneurs. She's running two companies because she's has nothing else. She's got plenty of time on her hands. She runs Little Cowboy Films, and that's an independent production company that she co-founded with her husband, Gavin Fields, which we affectionately are going to call Calvin the rest of the day. And maybe we'll bring you in on a little secret. And she's launched a brand new venture, which is why she's back in the studio today. Please join me in welcoming Shelby Grady back to the Dunwoody Dialogues. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, and what an intro.
Well, I mean, it's really interesting. My brain, we've been talking about film. I'm going to tell you what. So Shelby is so much fun to talk to about films and how things are made and how films are put together and scripts and actors.
It's my favorite subject.
Yeah, we totally went down the rabbit hole. And our producer / director, Madison, is back over here on the behind the camera. She's like, "Well, you guys stop talking because we got a show to film." So, on with the show.
Yes.
You are such a great person to come in and share with us
Thank
your
you.
expertise on film and entertainment. And last time you were here, you had just released, or were in the process of releasing, Brutal Season.
Yes.
So this was the first, can I call it feature-length film?
Mm-hmm.
All right, great. From Little Cowboy. I want to say Little.
That's
by
okay.
the
You
way.
can say little.
Can I?
Yeah.
You're so kind.
Of course.
But it's Little Cowboy. L-I-L.
Yeah.
Cowboy
Because
Films.
we're a little team. There's only two of us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, good.
Yeah.
And both of you are cow people.
Yes, of course. Obviously.
But you released Brutal Season
Yes.
in 2022, and it's streaming now on a
Yes.
couple of platforms. What platforms can people
So
find
you
it?
can find it on Google Play, Fandango. I believe it's on Amazon Prime.
Okay,
Available
good.
for rental. Yeah.
All
Pretty
right,
much
great.
anywhere you can get a movie, you can watch
All right,
it.
tell me, how's it been going with Brutal Season? What has that movie done for you guys?
It's been so great. I mean, it's kind of like our first child, I compare it to. It was just such a massive venture, and
Sure.
seeing it released to the world and having people actually watch it or rent it has just been the most fulfilling process. It's just been amazing.
Now, if I remember right, you filmed all of this on one stage.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
So-
Back in 2020.
And it's kind of like, during COVID even, right?
In the peak
Wow.
of COVID.
So I would equate it to sort of like a play,
Yeah.
right? So if you sit in a theater and you're watching a play, it's all going to happen in that same space.
Yes.
And I will tell you, so I saw this, it's terrific. And I still remember that there is it's right off the ocean. There's a big harbor, and I still hear the sounds of the ringing bells and the sounds you guys use to say, hey, we're right by a major port, and all of the story has something to do with that. So anyway, you have to go check that out. I loved how you did that.
Thank you.
And you guys have another production called Window Shopping. It's completed.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So it's very different from Brutal Season. Brutal Season is a 1940s neo-noir. As you said, that all takes place on one soundstage. But Window Shopping is more of a meta dark comedy that is kind of comparing independent filmmaking to a horror film. I think a lot of things can go wrong, but looking at that through a humorous lens. So it's a group of independent filmmakers that follow their director into the Appalachian Mountains to shoot a film for which they have no script and no plan.
Oh, wow.
And the wheels immediately fall off the bus. And it's just sort of looking at his devolving into a little bit of madness and the crew trying to decide if they're going to follow him down or not.
Wow. Yeah. So interesting. All right, so we'll have to talk about that sometime.
Definitely.
But we're not here to talk specifically about that, although we should. Tell me about the new venture, and I'm going to try to say it correctly. Rememeo.
You got it.
Okay, Rememeo.
Perfect.
Yay!
Yeah.
Tell me about Rememeo.
Yeah, so Rememeo does legacy films and family documentaries. So the idea is bringing documentaries to anyone. The idea is we come in, we shoot a long-form interview where we ask a subject or subjects lots of questions about their life and their experiences and what they've done and who they've loved and where they've lived, all sorts of questions. And in the same shoot day, we do lifestyle B-roll, so we'll go tour their house or shoot them, doing their hobbies or with art that they love or trinkets or scrapbooks, whatever they want to capture. And then we edit that together with archival photos and home videos to make what feels like a small documentary about a person or people that you love.
Oh, so cool. All right. Tell me what B-roll is.
B-roll is anything that's not in an interview setup. So right now you and I are talking, this is an interview. If we were walking around, if you were showing me the office, if you were, taking me on a tour of Dunwoody, that would be B-roll. Anything that's not the actual interview.
And so in interviews, as this can be used, is you could take my voice if you were interviewing me and I'm sharing a story about how my son and my dad and I went, my dad and I went to see my son play a baseball game. Mm-hmm. And as I'm telling you this story, the B-roll would be showing the photo of us at the baseball game.
Totally.
And so that's a common thing. We're used to it. We don't even know it's happening as consumers of really professional documentaries, which is what you guys are doing. I think that's really cool. It certainly breathes life into a story.
It does. It just allows for a more dynamic viewing experience.
Right. It's much more interesting, right? And it allows us to see more about that specific story.
Right.
So, back to that thing, if I'm telling a story about going to my son's baseball game and my dad coming and you show that photo, which is an iconic photo, by the way, it's easy, it's in my head. That's why that actually came up. But that breathes life into the story.
Absolutely.
Now I got an image and I can see my son, who's 30 now, he was this big in the photo, right? That's adorable.
Right. It gives context and it's also preserving that photo and breathing more life into that photo. Whereas if, your son's son or daughter or grandchildren ran across that photo in the future, they might have no context for it and why it's special.
Now, this is not an easy thing. Mm-hmm. Right? So you're interviewing me and we're talking about this thing. And so you've got all this B-roll. Someone in post-production, after all the content's been developed, has to say, oh, this has to go here. Mm-hmm. And that is one of potentially thousands of little, hey, this goes here and that goes here, which is why it's worthwhile doing this, I'm guessing.
Absolutely. So much of the storytelling actually happens in the edit. Gavin, my husband, is really amazing at taking different moments and even putting them out of sequence from how we filmed them just to make a really cohesive and complete and really interesting story so that you stay engaged and interested the entire time. And that takes so much time and expertise just to know how to assemble that story in the most effective way possible.
Absolutely. Okay, so the name is Rememeo.
Yes.
I equated it to Romeo at first, but has nothing to do with Romeo. No. Tell me about the name.
So we wanted something that encapsulated every facet of what we're trying to do, and we kept coming back to this idea of real memories on video, and also remember and memento, all of these words that kind of tie in with video, and we decided just to make up a word, which ended up being Rememeo, because it encapsulates everything that we're trying to do.
And it really works as a marketer.
Thanks.
What we do, that's our big thing here at Discover Dunwoody. is the name has to describe what you do.
Yes.
And I think that that's really good. Once you get it, you get it. And I
Thanks.
think that's great. So as someone who has lost loved ones and I've even gone through and tried to document conversations with past loved ones, I'm assuming that there was some sort of personal connection. Did anything happen to you and Gavin?
Yeah. So I am very close with my grandparents, and my mom's parents in particular were 50-year residents of Dunwoody, and they grew up I grew up 13 houses down from them, rather.
Wow.
So very, very, very close. And they both passed away within 60 days of each other in 2024. And that was a profound loss. So in moving through kind of my grief with that, I kept coming back to wishing that I just had kind of more of them that I could watch and revisit. And in thinking about that, that's sort of how the idea was born. What if we had interviewed them? What if we had gotten this lifestyle B-roll? What if we had this little package that we could come back and revisit? And on the flip side, Gavin's grandparents passed when he was very young, so he has really nothing of them, other than, of course, stories and photos and home videos. But that takes time. You have to contextualize all of that. So in thinking about all of that, we just decided to offer this to other people as a service.
I think it's great. I think it's so cool. I'm sitting back and I'm thinking of the times where I'm looking at my own grandparents, mm-hmm. right? And there is a photo.
Yeah.
A photo, right? And I don't even know what my grandfather's voice was like.
Right.
Now something recently happened. All my kids came back, and I have adult children, mm-hmm. and we're sitting in the living room, and there's a pause. Maybe there's a basketball game on or something, right? And there's a pause, and there's conversation. Well, on our streaming service, it puts up photographs and randomizes the photographs. So all these photographs start showing up on the screen, and we're experiencing them in live, almost together. And I remember one of the pictures that we took of all of us. It was like, oh, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Well, that picture's awesome.
Right.
And that's the thing. Right now it may not feel like it has real value, but my goodness. Fast forward 5 years.
Right.
10. 20.
Yeah.
It's just terrific. It'll be a treasure for these folks.
Yeah, the whole concept is having sort of a digital heirloom that you pass down to future generations. It's not just
so cool.
for you or your kids, it's also for their kids and their kids and their kids, something that they can return to and know what you were like, or your parents or your grandparents.
So, have you had anybody say, gosh, I can just do this myself. I got an iPhone.
Absolutely.
I'll just sit down with grandma and just interview her.
Yeah.
Right?
We all have a camera in our pocket.
Sure.
I understand the impulse to do that, and you absolutely can. However.
And you should.
You should. Anyway. Document as much as you can.
Right.
But the real magic of this is the labor that goes into the piece as a whole. Right. So you might have that interview on your phone, but odds are it's going to sit there. Maybe you don't do a whole lot with it. You're certainly not going in and cutting it together with photos and home videos, and you're probably not getting B-roll when you interview grandma.
Right.
So you have that, but it's harder to return to because it doesn't feel like a complete piece. And so that's really the idea, is that, yes, you can have that. If you have it, great. In fact, we would love to use it if you end up hiring us to shoot a Rememeo.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but, making it feel like something that's more watchable.
That is good. You're going to harness your filmmaking capabilities in this, right? Do you have an example of how that actually impacts the final product?
Absolutely. So Gavin is a writer, director, and editor. I'm a producer and actor. So we look at any piece of media a little differently, just because that's who we are to our core. So Gavin knows the shot and how he wants it to be composed. And as the interview's going on, he can be thinking of the edit and how pieces are going to come together. I know how to guide an interview, and I know how and why really careful planning leading up to the shoot and on the day of the shoot can impact how much footage we get and the quality of footage we get. We come in with a plan. We're not just showing up and saying, okay, well, let's figure it out.
Sure.
We have carefully planned your entire shoot, and then we'll continue to put it together long after the day of shooting.
Yeah.
So I think you're just getting sort of a different lens, if you will, through which to see this person or people.
Right. You and I were talking about films before. This kind of connects to, you could have a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
And they could put on a great performance. But who's the person behind the camera and decides what shots are used and what angles, and that takes a professional to be able to put that story together.
Yeah.
That's the kind of experience you guys are harnessing to come up with a final product that is, quite frankly, beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's the goal.
So we talked a lot of things. One of the ones we were going to talk about was process, and I think you just went through process well.
Yeah.
But I've sat down with many people and interviewed them, and I've seen folks who are very natural right before we go live, right before Madison says we're on.
Yeah.
But as soon as we go live, they change.
Yeah.
How do you manage that with people who are not used to being in front of a camera?
Yeah, so when we were thinking through Rememeo and what it would look like, we were very aware of this. These are
Sure.
people that are not trained actors. A lot of times people feel really uncomfortable talking about themselves, or they might even be thinking, I'm not interesting. Why would anyone want to know about what I have to say? So the whole idea is you're not getting, a complicated lighting setup. We're not coming in with 3 cameras and 10 crew. It's just me and Gavin. It's very comfortable. It's in a space where you feel comfortable. It's one camera, and we just are trying to have a conversation. That's it. It's not supposed to be your best and most polished day. It's supposed to be just you on a regular day.
Right.
And hopefully that takes a little bit of the pressure off.
So I'm going to give you a little kudos, and I told you this before. If I was going to sit down and interview someone, chances are likely they're not going to be as comfortable as they would be talking to you. You do have an ability to connect.
Thanks.
And I think that's part of the value of what you guys bring, is that, if you walk into somebody's living room, they're going to like talking to you, right?
Thank you.
Because you just have you have an air of comfortableness, and I think that's part of the oomph that you bring in, like, hey, I'm going to be able to sit down and talk to your grandmother, and she's going to like talking to me.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, you probably won't convey it quite that way because you're a lot more humble, but
you.
I think that's part of it, and that's part of good interviewers, right?
Yeah.
A person who can interview well is able to connect with their subject, the person that's on the camera with them, and help them feel comfortable.
Yeah.
You're good at that.
Thanks.
So that's part of the package. So you should put that on there somehow. The best
Amazing
value
interviewer.
is you get to sit and talk to Shelby, right?
Well, I think part of what draws us to filmmaking in general is just a genuine curiosity about people.
Right.
And so we are bringing that curiosity to the table. We're not just showing up because it's a service and we're getting paid to do it. It's also because we really are interested. We love hearing about people's stories and lives. That is real. And so it feels like an honor and a privilege to get to sit down with people and hear about their vast array of experiences.
Yeah. Well, that's why you're in filmmaking.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we don't really see actors and entertainment in this way, but most of the reason that people do find that acting is so much fun, for lack of a better word, is the ability to connect with people.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And if I'm able to convey emotions, like I'm amazed at people that can cry on cue. That's a special skill.
Definitely.
Tell me, do people actually, do they ever spray something on
Oh,
people's
yeah.
face to help them cry?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
All the time.
I feel so much better.
Yeah.
Right? All right,
Not
good.
me. No, truly.
You can cry on cue?
I can. It takes me I couldn't do it right now.
Oh, come
would
on. I was
get
gonna,
far
you
too
knew I was
nervous.
going to ask
I
you
knew
that.
you were going to say that. I couldn't. Maybe I could, but I'd have to sit here for a minute.
Okay, but wait a minute. How do you do that?
Well, it's different for every actor.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it's tapping into something that would make me cry. Otherwise.
Oh, okay. All right. So I got to tell you something interesting,
Yeah.
totally off the cuff. So my wife and I watched Hamnet this weekend, and it just so happened to be the same weekend of the Oscars.
Of course.
And I thought the movie's fantastic. I shouldn't admit this, but I'm going to tell you this. When we watch movies at night, I'm kind of old. I go to sleep early.
Okay.
Right? I'm a 9:30 kind of guy. Well, we were watching this show. It was way after 9:30, and the back half of the movie, I fell asleep.
Okay.
So the movie's over, and Stephanie says, "Well, you should watch that. It's good." And then I get up in the morning. I work out in the morning, and I take my big iPad and I put it on the elliptical, and I watch stuff. So I saw the end of it on the elliptical.
What an interesting way to watch a movie.
I will tell you, I'm really good at it. I've done it oftentimes. I see most movies on the elliptical.
That's
for
so
the record.
funny.
So I get down, And I'm finished with the movie, and I come upstairs, and my wife is working out. She's working out in the living room. She does that when it's cold out, by the way.
Sure.
And I come in and I said, "Wow, that movie was fantastic." And I said, and the woman who plays William Shakespeare's wife in the movie, Jessie Buckley.
Yeah.
And I said, and she won the Oscar. So this is immediately the morning after the Oscars. It actually made me cry. Right? Because I just finished watching the end of that, which the end is, wow.
Yeah,
right?
I've heard.
Great ending, right?
Yeah.
And and she won the Oscar, and it touched me in a way.
Yeah.
So there is a thing where if you can tap into that, it's easier.
Yeah, I'm also a weeper. I will cry over nothing, which helps a lot. Like,
That's
we
awesome.
have been watching these old documentaries about the Olympics, and every single time without fail, the closing ceremonies, I am weeping because I'm like, they all went after their dreams. They achieved their dreams.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
right?
I just like, I am very empathetic.
It's the human element.
Yeah,
right?
it's human to human. It's thinking about that experience that they were having,
just
even
think
if it was
that's so cool.
50 years ago.
I love that. That is really, really cool. And I do think that story is great. There is a movie that, one of my favorite movies I watch every Christmas, and I don't even have to watch the whole movie. I can go to the very last scene of It's a Wonderful Life.
I knew that's what you were going to say.
And when the brother walks in and says, "To my brother, the richest man in town," that could just make me cry.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Every time.
it's so important because of that relationship
Absolutely.
he develops. Okay, we have gone way off the rails.
We have.
This is fun. Rememeo is a great idea. I love this.
Thank you.
Share with us a little bit of the range. What type of pricing can somebody expect for this?
Sure. So our packages start at $4,000 and go up to about $10,000.
Okay.
And so much of that is just because we're telling a complete story. There's
Right.
a lot of hard work that goes into the preparation and the day, and then afterwards,
Okay,
making
good.
sure that it's something you want to return to.
Well, now, so we do our own development. We hire people to put together commercials and other video, and I know immediately when we look at that we're starting at $10,000.
Yeah.
So the pricing I don't think is out of whack at all. I think
you.
it makes great sense, and because you're
Thanks.
doing it, and listen, you are saving money because it's just the two of you.
Exactly.
So this is not a bring in 12 people for a production. So
Yep.
that's very smart.
Thanks.
And you are able to keep costs down, but it's still labor. It takes a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the expertise that you guys bring is awesome.
And we genuinely care. You know, we want the end product to be really, really good, and that means we put in perhaps a little more time than someone else might.
I love that.
Thanks.
All right. Where can people find out more about Rememeo?
Our website, which is www.rememeo.com. That's REMEMEO. We're on Instagram and LinkedIn, same spelling.
Yep.
And if they wanted to reach out to me directly, they could email me at shelby@rememeo.com.
Fantastic. And I believe Madison said she put those in the comments.
Perfect.
So if you didn't catch that, definitely go check out the comments and you'll find a way to reach out and touch Shelby and ask her to help with creating a video for your loved ones. So this is great.
Thanks.
It's such an interesting concept. I really hope you succeed at this.
Thank
I
you
hope
so
you
much.
guys just blow it out. I hope this becomes such a national sensation. Everybody in the world's
Me
talking
too.
about
Me
it.
too.
And if you do, come back and let us know about
You
all
got
those
it.
successes.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for watching. I'm Mark Galvin, your host here at the Dunwoody Dialogues. This show is produced by Discover Dunwoody, the official destination marketing organization for Dunwoody. Our show is produced and directed and everything. Actually, truth is, I don't do anything. I just show up and talk. All the work is done by Madison Holtz. So if you see Madison around, give her a big pat on the back. She does great work for us on this show as well as so many other things we do here at Discover Dunwoody. We always want everybody to have a Dunwoody sticker on their car, on their laptop, on the stairwell leading up from the basement, wherever you want to put a Dunwoody sticker. In fact, I saw one this morning driving into work. It made me so proud. These are free. You can get these all over Dunwoody. Go to NFA Burger, go to the library, go to City Hall, you name it. You can go find a Dunwoody sticker anywhere. And if you can't find one, come here to Discover Dunwoody. We're right in the perimeter. We would love to give you a Dunwoody sticker. Follow us on our social media. It's Discover Dunwoody is our handle everywhere, or go to our website, discoverdunwoody.com. We have all the lists you could want, from restaurants to shopping to the events happening in Dunwoody. We put all of that on our website. We spend a lot of time making sure our website is fantastic. Go check that out. I think that you'll find it a great resource. So Shelby, thanks again. Thanks for coming to share with us about Rememeo, everything about Brutal Season. We wish you well on that. And the new movie, Window Shopping. You're going to be great, I'm sure.
Thank you.
When you're successful, you're going to come back and tell us?
Absolutely, of
All right.
course.
Rock
Thank you
on.
so much for having me. This was a blast.
Thanks for being here. And to all of you, thank you for watching. Now come discover Dunwoody.